How's it going, everybody? David Hedge here, House Hedge Gaming, and today I want to show you a game from Lowen Games that is a biblical fantasy game that definitely caught my eye, and they gave me a copy of the game to show you here on the channel. And I thank Lowen Games for doing it. I know this is a long time coming, but I'm finally getting a chance to show you how to set up and play this game because I will be doing something very special beginning in May, and I'll tell you about that at the end of the video. But let me show you how to set up and start to play Deliverance from Lowen Games. Now in Deliverance, you and your friends take on the roles of angels and are sent to Fallbrook to defeat the imps, fiends, demons, and fallen princes that have taken up residence in the town. Now the setup for the game is very simple. First you have the darkness board. Now what this does is it keeps the darkness track. Basically this is the influence that is over the town of Fallbrook. The more of these that are on the board, the tougher it is for the angels to win. Now, there is a prince deck that will be used for the second half of a skirmish game or the second half of a mission in the book, The Deliverance of Fallbrook. Now, you have the battle deck where you take certain levels of demons, depending on what you want to use in your game, shuffle them up and deal them out so you can determine the initiative of when those creatures attack. Next, you have a track, your experience track, but this can also be your time track as well, because there'll be certain missions throughout the game that will be determining how many turns you have and things of that nature. But in the beginning of the game, you will start this track at 0, and it will progress more and more throughout the game depending on what you do against the imps and fiends that you encounter. Next, you follow the directions on the cards that are dealt, and it will tell you where you get to place the different creatures you'll be going against. So for example, for the Hateful Fiend, the 2 fiends have been placed on their respective symbols, while the Saint has been put here. Now, when a Saint is on the board, basically these are members of Fallbrook that have fallen prey to the darkness, and they will always start on this blue side until an angel comes to restore their faith. Next, each player gets to choose an angel that they get to play as throughout the game. So in this case, I have Christine and I have Azrael. Each angel will get 2 turn markers. They will also get 2 courage. You have a starting health. For these angels, it's both at 15. Then you have on the side here their different stats, which includes their strength, their discipline, and their wisdom. Next, you will shuffle up the darkness deck and place 1 darkness card per angel that is in this game. You will then shuffle up the prayer cards, and you will shuffle up the heavenly treasure cards. Once you are done with all this, it is time to start playing the game. Now, there are 3 different phases in Deliverance per round. The first phase is the darkness phase. Now, as you can see, I've already done the first part where you deal out 1 darkness card per angel on the board. That's per angel in the game. Next, you would add 1 card per oppressed saint, the ones on the blue side. So, you skip this at the first turn of the game, first round. Thank goodness, because this would get bad real quick. Next, you resolve drawing excess cards. So for example, on the next turn, if these 2 are not dealt with, you would have to deal out 1 per angel plus 1 per each oppressed saint. So for example, you go this, 2, 3. You cannot draw a 4th card. So what you have to do is you go back to this first card and you flip it over, and this will have an effect on the game until it is cast down. Now, if at any point all 5 spaces on the darkness track are filled and flipped, at any point that you have to draw a darkness card and you cannot meet one of those 2 conditions, then each angel will take a damage. And in late game, that can be very dangerous. Finally, you would resolve each face up with a special arrow lightning symbol. Then discard those if they have them. So for example, with this one here, this is a continuous effect that will happen throughout the game. But you will come across cards that will have this symbol here. What this does is that this will automatically deal a certain amount of damage or cause a certain effect. Then it will be discarded, and that space will be freed up for another darkness card to happen later on in the game. Once you are done with that, it is now time to move on to the second phase, which is the action phase, where the angels and demons get to take their turns. Now, during the action phase, there are 4 parts. 1, you refresh any action tokens, which are these tokens here. When they are used, they'll be flipped over to the gray side. So you would flip over any that had the gray side showing, and then you would be ready to go. Next, you choose an angel to act first. So, in this case, the angel initiative token has on Azrael. Azrael will go first. Then you would alternate turns between angels and demons, and repeat until each angel and demon acts. So, let's go over Azrael's actions. So they have 2 actions. Now, the first ability, and this happens for most angels, you have a free ability at first, and then you have a second ability that you must pay for. So, for example, the first time you use Spectral Walk, it is free to use. But the second time, you have to use an action to perform that. Now, others, you get to have different things, different payments. So, for example, to Reap, you use an action, plus you gain a courage. For Fever Break, you use an action, -1 courage. For a Locust Swarm, you use an action, and then you lose 3 courage. And then each angel can pray. Now, prayer, there's no specific thing about that, no range or anything, but you gain a courage, and you get to go through the prayer deck, and for each time you use this, you do as the card says on there. Now, there are some times where you might have to do certain other checks, but in this case, you would draw a card, test 7, which means you roll 2 dice, sum up the number on those 2 dice, and see if your prayers are answered. So in this case, it's a 7. So, not only would you gain this, but you would also get to do one of the following. You get to cast down a darkness card, or you get to remove an affliction, or you get to revive a defeated angel. Now, this can definitely come in handy, especially late game. But early game too, because prayers will definitely be able to give you some answers that you might be looking for. Once an angel is done with all of their actions, then it's on to the demon's turn. And let's go over what those little buggers can do. Now, each demon has their own particular way of dealing with the angels. Now, you will go from top to bottom here, and you'll be able to see what they can do. So, for example, with this one, it has an automatic ability that says Meddlesome, remove all damage counters from each meddling imp. Now, the plus side for meddling imps, they are low on health. The bad part of it is that they can regroup really quick. Then, once any of these abilities are done, or once these abilities are done, including the action they want to take, then you roll 2 dice to determine what each one of those demons will do to the angels or to the saints. Now, once they're done with all of their actions, then it goes to the next angel. Now let's go onto the board a little bit and see what happens with these saints, because these are definitely going to help you in the game. So as you can see within the town, there will be demons that will be moving around trying to get to the angels. But if at any point an angel is near a saint, 2 things will happen. 1, the saint will flip, because now its faith has been restored. And then on the experience track, you will go up 1 point, showing that you have been able to help a saint out. If at any point the angel leaves and a demon goes back in place next to the saint, then the saint will flip back over. If at any point both an angel and a saint are next, or an angel and a demon, are next to a saint, then that saint stays exactly where it is until one of those opposing forces have moved. Once all the demons and angels have taken their turns during the action phase, then you go to the final phase, which is the level up phase. Now, the level up phase, if there's experience on the track, you get to spend 1 + 1 XP per angel to gain a talent or treasure card. So, what that does, for example, if you are on 3, you can go on ahead and spend all of it, and then each angel gets to level up. They can either take a talent that they have available to them, or draw a heavenly treasure card. In either case, you reveal 2 cards from the chosen type, choose one to equip, and the rest go on the bottom of the stack. Only one of each level talent can be equipped at any time. Now, throughout the duration of the game, you will be going back and forth until one of 2 things happens. Either all angels are defeated, or all of the demons are defeated. Once the demons are defeated, then you can either A, especially in skirmish mode, you can just call it a day, or B, you can be ready to set up and fight against one of the princes. But we'll go into that when I go into story mode. But this is just a quick learn to play tutorial of how to play Deliverance from Lowen Games. Well, there you have it. That is the start of how to play Deliverance from Lowen Games. Now, the game I had set up was the basic one. It's an adventure mode, which is basically beginner level. And I start off with 2 angels, but in a 1-player game, you can do 2 angels, or you can play an angel and a special card called the Intercessor, which is basically a helper that will help the angel defeat the evil in the town. Now, the gameplay, I love how the gameplay is set up. The villains do their own thing. They're basically on their own system. You don't have to have a GM or a DM to run them. All you have to do is focus on the darkness track, and you have to focus on the angels. And that's the one thing I really do enjoy about the game. Now, going back and forth between angel and demon is going to take a little bit to get used to, but once you do that, after a playthrough 2 of the game, it's going to become more fluid, and you'll be able to get into the gameplay a lot easier from that. Once you get a few skirmishes down, then you can go against one of the fallen princes, and then you can go into the story mode, which is what I'm going to be doing on May the 5th. Now, I don't know if I'll be doing it with friends or if I'm going to be doing it all by myself. And if I go all by myself, I'll have 2 angels at my side to go into the game and go through the storyline, The Deliverance of Fallbrook. It's a 12 mission game that will start on May 5th and should end at Gen Con. And it's going to be the biggest undertaking I have done for this channel. Now, if you are not a fan of biblical religious fantasy board games, or if you do not want the story spoiled for you, I will have other videos coming up throughout that duration of leading up to Gen Con while I'm doing the playthrough for Deliverance. So I'll have Magic the Gathering content. I will have board games I'm looking for at Gen Con. I'll have the Gen Con want list. I'll be doing other videos that pop in my head and might have good ideas to post up on here and have fun with as we count down to Gen Con 2024. In other words, I'll be having 2 videos a week, and most likely I will be tired by the time Gen Con ends. I will be taking a little bit of a rest. I'll give you a heads up on that. But the other thing I want to mention is that during the storyline, there might be material that is not suitable for all ages. And if that does come up, I'll make sure to have that disclaimer both in the description of the video, but also at the very beginning of the video, so you know what's coming up, because I don't want anybody to be caught off guard by anything. Never want that happening here on the channel. When I do playthroughs and reviews and all that, I want to make them upbeat. I want to make them informative. I want to make them fun. And if I know in some games they do focus or they do mention certain events taking place or certain things that characters may do, and I want to make sure people are not caught unaware of that. And hopefully, if you see that warning, you just go, okay, I need to skip this video and go something else. And that's perfectly fine. I completely understand that. And if you do join me on this adventure, I hope you enjoy it. And I'll do everything I can to make it as entertaining as possible. But like I said, I just want to make sure if I do come across any materials that are not suitable for all audiences, I'll definitely have those disclaimers up on those videos throughout the duration of the storyline. But it's going to be something else, and hopefully everyone will enjoy the gameplay. You all will enjoy the journey that I go through and all the other videos I'll be posting, because it's going to be a busy summer of Magic and board games and everything else going on here on the channel as the countdown to Gen Con has officially begun. So thank you all so much for checking out this video. If you like it, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and let everyone know that House Hedge Gaming is here for all of your gaming needs. So until next time, everyone, stay safe and take care, my friends.